Okay. So the muscle in neck, which is responsible for our breathing process, is sternocleidomastoid. You have not answered the total, means the exact name of that muscle. Don't go to the shortcuts. It's not the way.
Sorry, ma'am. Yes.
But at least you have tried. I appreciate you. Okay. So next muscle is trapezius muscle. Trapezius muscle is also present in the back. This muscle covers the shoulder and the back of neck. Here in this picture, you can see this one is trapezius muscle. It is starting from the neck and it is ending at the back. It is such long. So this muscle covers the shoulder and back of neck. The upper attachment is to occipital bone. I hope you remember the occipital bone is present in the back side of head. The uh, the medial attachment is to the transverse process of cervical and thoracic vertebrae, and lateral attachment is to the clavicle and scapula. I hope that you remember the concept of medial and lateral. Medial is towards midline, lateral is away from midline. So, towards midline will be always in the vertebral side. So, medial attachment is in the vertebral side and lateral attachment is at the shoulder side, that is clavicle and scapula. And the transverse process of cervical and thoracic vertebrae. We have already discussed spinal process and transverse process of each vertebra. Do you remember that? I have discussed twice, thrice, I don't know how many times.
Yes, ma'am. You discussed.
Do you remember what is the concept of transverse process and spinal process?
Yes, ma'am. And means that vertebrae front side, that back side. Sorry, front side is vertebrae body, and back side that is spinous process, and two side of vertebrae there is transverse process.
Very
Uh,
good, very good. If I would be there, I would have clapped for you. Very good.
thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so this trapezius muscle is having its upper attachment to occipital bone, and medial attachments to transverse process of cervical and thoracic vertebrae, and lateral attachment is towards clavicle and scapula. Do you remember what is clavicle bone?
Uh,
Collarbone,
yes, ma'am.
beauty bone.
Yes,
Yes,
very
ma'am.
good. Collarbone or beauty bone, you can say. It is more visible in girls. So this is the attachments of trapezius muscle, and it pulls the head up backward. It pulls the head backward, squares the shoulders, and controls the movement of scapula when the shoulder is in the joint. Okay. So it is, this means this trapezius muscle is responsible in our head movements. Means you can see this muscle is present in the back of our neck from the occipital bone to the thoracic region. It is such long. So it is responsible for all our neck movements and shoulder movements. When our head is going backward, our head is pulled backward, and our shoulder, for any movement of our shoulders, and the shoulder blade, scapular movement. All these movements are done with the help of this trapezius muscle. And why the name trapezius? Because trapezium is a shape, if you know in mathematics. Trapezium is a shape, and this muscle resembles similar shape of trapezium. That is why this is known as trapezius. And tell me what is the shape of a trapezium? It will be, I will be very happy. Anyone?
Ma'am, trapezium means that is three angular and three surface shape trapezium, I think.
May I, ma'am?
Yeah, obviously.
Trapezium is a quadrilateral having two sides parallel to each other, but other two sides are not parallel to each other and are of same, you can say, same length, but not in parallel position.
Okay, you tried good. I hope you have the concept. Did my screen gone?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, ho, ho, ho.
Now it's visible, ma'am.
Okay. I don't know how long it will be stable. Let me try. Okay. So trapezius is like it's very difficult to draw here. Means assume that this is also a straight line. Okay. And these two lines are parallel to each other, and yeah, it is a quadrilateral. Mm, very difficult. So assume that these all are straight lines. Okay. So this quadrilateral having four arms or four lines, as it is quadrilateral. I hope you know that quadrilaterals are having four arms or four lines. So this quadrilateral having two arms parallel, this one and this one, or any two lines are parallel, and the other two lines are not parallel and they are dissecting each other or intersecting each other in some distance. So this is the shape of a trapezium. Okay. So this trapezius muscle also resembles almost a similar shape. That is why it is known as trapezium. And we will also found muscles name as rhomboid, or like this. Muscles are named as per shapes. Muscles are named as per origin, as per shape. So, as per shapes, we can get the geometrical shapes like trapezius, rhomboid. So, rhomboid came from rhombus. If you let me know what is rhombus, anyone?
Yes, ma'am, that is like four angles shape rhombus.
Speed
Yeah.
of card,
Yes.
speed in cards,
I'm not getting you.
ma'am. The card we are filling. the speed, the shape, or the burpee shape, we can say.
Yeah, it is a Burfi shape. So in rhombus, what is the feature of rhombus? Rhombus is having
Quadrilateral
four.
force shape.
Yes,
Quadrilateral force sides will be equal.
yes, it is the most important feature. A quadrilateral of which four arms or four sides are of equal length. We are having such feature in squares. Squares are also having four sides in equal. But the difference between square and rhombus is square having all the angles 90-degree angle. But in rhombus, it's not like that. In rhombus, all the means opposite angles are similar. So it resembles Burfi shaped. Yes, it's a good terminology. Burfi shaped. Right? It resembles like this.
How about diamond, ma'am? Diamond, can it be called rhombus?
Yes, yes, yes. I have drawn very very wrong. It's not like it means all the sides are equal and it resemble like Varpi, like this. So this is the shape of rhombus. I hope you understand. So muscles. The point of saying this geometrical shape is muscles are named by their shape and they resemble almost like this shape. That is why they are named like trapezium, rhomboid. So here you can see rectus abdominis muscle. Rectus means they resemble like rectangle. Okay, so I hope trapezius muscle is clear. It is located in back side of body from shoulder to thoracic region. Now, this rectus abdominis muscle. This is the most superficial muscle located in the front of the body. Means abdominis. Abdominis came from abdomen. Abdomen is our belly. Right? Our belly region is known as our abdomen region. So this muscle is located in our belly region. That is why abdominis and rectus means it resembles almost like rectangle shaped. So it is the most superficial muscle. Yes, it is superficial means what is the meaning of superficial?
Upar, no, ma'am.
Yes, yes. It's not deep. What is the opposite of superficial? Opposite of superficial is deep. It's not deep. It's you can feel rectus abdominis from your from by touching your belly, or it is visible in uh, gym. Those who perform gym or those who are very fit and fitness freak means those who are having abs. We are very familiar with abs, right? Six pack, eight pack. So how these packs come from? These packs are visualization of this rectus abdominis muscle. You can see it is just present in the abdominal region. That is why it is known as abs, or it is also known as abdominis muscle. That is why we call it abs. His abs
Ma'am,
are coming out. Yes.
so is it very easy to work on these muscles because they are just superficial level?
You can work any of the skeletal muscles because skeletal muscles are voluntary in nature. We can move easily and we can walk easily in skeletal muscles because these are voluntary. Any of the skeletal muscle. Okay, even in Noli Kriya, if you know the Noli Kriya, Agnisar Kriya, in all these Kriyas, we are regulating this rectus abdominal muscle only. This is the dominant muscle we are regulating in Agnisar, in Noli, especially in Noli, we are concentrating these muscles. And with the help of this skeletal muscle, we are massaging our internal organs which are involuntary in nature. So this is the beauty of yoga. With the help of voluntary muscles, we are regulating and massaging our voluntary muscles or voluntary organs, which is not possible anywhere without yoga. Okay, so here comes the beauty of yoga. So it is located in the front of the body. It is broad and flat, originating from pubic bone when then passing upward to be inserted into lower ribs and sternum. You can see in this picture it is originating in the lower part, that is pubic bone, and from pubic bone it is going long up to the lower part of rib cage. Okay. And the main action of rectus abdominis is flexion of trunk, flexion of thoracic and lumbar spine. It aids forced expiration. Okay, so the main function is it contracts the belly region. You can contract the belly region with the help of these muscles, and um, it also aids forced expiration. What is the breathing technique, or what is the practice, or what is the kriya where we expire forcefully?
Kapalabhati, ma'am.
Yes, very good. So in Kapalvati and also in Bhastrika, we expire forcefully. So in those cases, these muscles are working. Next is diaphragm. Very, very important muscle. Diaphragm. Diaphragm is a muscular tendinous structure. Muscular tendinous. Musculus plus tendons means you can see tendons are too much in this muscle. White portions you can see in these muscles are all tendons. So this is the only muscle which is not inserting to any other bone. It is inserting on its own and forming this white structure in the middle of it. That is tendon. Okay. So it is large dome-shaped muscular structure. Uh, what do you mean by dome-shaped?
Um,
Like
like semicircular, ma'am.
like a
Yes.
balloon.
Not balloon. Yeah, it is like semicircular. Means you have seen masjids, right? Masjids having dome on its upper part of the infrastructure. Like in Taj Mahal also, you can see domes in the upper part. Means domes are like this.
Half shape of circle. Like
Like this. Just imagine that this is dome.
Yes, ma'am. Got it, ma'am.
This is the dome shape, okay? So the diaphragm is also present like this only in our middle of the means this muscle is separating our thoracic region and our abdominal region. Okay, so diaphragm also serves as divider between thoracic and abdominal cavities. Yes, it forms the floor of thoracic cavity. Yes, it is forming the base of thoracic cavity, right? On which lungs and heart is located. It originates on the L1, L5 vertebrae, L1 to L5 vertebrae. The lower six costal cartilages and the xiphoid process of sternum. Uh, Xiphoid process is the part of sternum where the sternum is ending. Okay, the lowest part of sternum is known as xiphoid process. So the diaphragm is originating on the L1 to L5 vertebrae, means it is originating at lumbar region, and the lower six costal cartilages and the xiphoid process of sternum, it is touching. Okay, means you can understand, it is present just where the thoracic region is ending. Okay, just below your chest, and it is separating your thoracic region and abdominal region. It inserts into the central tendon of diaphragm. Yes, it is inserting by its own. Means this muscle is not every muscle having two different points. One is origin point and one is insertion point. But this diaphragm muscle is inserting on its own. It is not inserting to any bone. That is why this tendinous structure in the middle of it. Okay, so yes, the muscle fibers of diaphragm combine to form a central tendon. This muscle helps inhale and exhale. This is the very important muscle which help in breathing. Okay, now please tell me by your common sense that when we are inhaling, the diaphragm should contract or expand. When we are
Expand.
inhaling, when we are inhaling, our lungs are expanding, right? So it is just
To make
below.
more space for the breath we are taking in.
Yes, please repeat.
Our diaphragm
Hmm.
diaphragm become like bigger, or it relax more to make space for the air that we breathe in.
Mm, no,
No, okay.
you are telling just opposite.
Oh,
When the
oh,
lungs are when the lungs are expanding, when we are inhaling, the diaphragm is just below of lungs. Diaphragm is located just below the lungs. So when the lungs are expanding, this diaphragm is contracting. Lungs are providing pressure. Lungs are putting pressure on this diaphragm, right? We are inhaling, the lungs are expanding in all the sides. Lungs are expanding towards below, expanding towards upside, front side, back side, every side. Lungs are expanding from everywhere, just like balloons. We are putting air in our two lungs like two balloons, and those two lungs like balloons, they are expanding. So when they are expanding, they are contracting everything beside them. Means a balloon is expanding and with this expansion force, everything surrounding those lungs are getting contracted. Okay, so we have also seen that neck muscle, sternocleidomastoid, back muscle, means all the neck muscles are also contracting. Our internal intercostal muscles are also contracting. Diaphragm is also contracting to give space to lungs to expand, right? And when the
Okay.
expiration when the expiration process is going, means when we are exhaling, that time all the surrounding things of lungs are getting expanded, they are getting relaxed, like diaphragm, like neck muscles, like our intercostal muscles, internal intercostal muscles. Intercostal muscles are the muscles between ribs, right? So when we are inhaling, only lungs is expanding, other all the things are contracting. So this diaphragm is also having a very important role in breathing. Diaphragm is contracting and giving a very huge space to lungs to expand. Here you can see this is the location of diaphragm, and this is the shape of diaphragm muscle. It is this one is lower six cotal cartilages, and this is the xiphoid process of sternum. Here you can see sternum is divided into three parts. Here it is divided. This is the first part or upper part, that is known as manubrium, and yeah, this is the xiphoid process, and this is the lumbar, means lumbar region. Here five vertebrae are present. You all know lumbar region is containing five vertebrae. Now deltoid muscle. Deltoid muscle, these muscle fibers originate from clavicle and scapula and radiate over the shoulder joint to inserted into deltoid tuberosity of the humerus. So this is the location of deltoid muscle. You can see in this picture. You can also feel your deltoid muscle when we are getting injected. Generally means all the injections generally we take in our deltoid muscle only. You have all taken uh, vaccines, right? So you can understand all the vaccines are given to you in deltoid muscle. So that is the deltoid muscle. Um, these muscle fibers originate from clavicle and scapula. You can see here, this is the clavicle, and the backside scapula is present. So clavicle and scapula is the origin point of deltoid muscle, and it is inserted into deltoid tuberosity. Here, this region is known as deltoid tuberosity of humerus bone. It is inserting into humerus bone. It forms the fleshy and rounded contour of shoulder. Yes, it provides a rounded shape of shoulder. Its main function is movement of arm. The deltoid flexes, decrease the angle of joint. Yes, we have already discussed what is flexion and extension. So it helps in flexion of shoulder. Abduction also. Abduction was moving away from midline, and extend, increase the angle of joint. Means generally shoulder movements are done by this deltoid muscle. Next is bicep muscle. This is, I hope everyone is familiar with bicep muscle. So biceps is a muscle on anterior aspect of upper arm which acts on both the shoulder joint and elbow joint. So you can see here the picture of bicep, and you all know where it is located. It is located in the front side of upper arm, and this bicep brachii, this is the whole name of this muscle. Biceps brachii consist of two parts or two heads, and they both originate from scapula. Okay, so this bicep muscle is originating from scapula, and as it is having two heads, that is why it is known as bicep. Bi means two. So it is having two heads. That is why it is known as bicep. Bicep brachii. It consists of two heads, each of which has its own tendon. The short and long head rises from scapula. The distal tendon crosses the elbow joint and is inserted into radius. Here you can see it is inserting into radius bone. Where the radius bone is present, if you please answer me.
Ma'am, front of that humerus. Sorry, that below the elbow,
Forearm.
front
Yes.
side bone is that
So, will you please tell me the two bones are present in the forearm? What are those two?
radius and ulna.
And which side radia is present, in the thumb side or in the little finger side?
Thumb side, ma'am.
Very good. So, it is this bicep brachii is inserting to radius. Means its tendon is inserting to radius. It helps to stabilize and flex the shoulder joint and at the elbow joint. It assists with flexion and supination of forearm. Supination and pronation are again two terminologies of anatomy and physiology. When we in savasana, we face our palms on the towards sky, right, towards ceiling. So that is supination or supination. And opposite of that, when we place our palms towards the floor, it is known as pronation. So these are the two movements, supination and pronation. So when we are facing our palm towards the sky, that is supination. And when we are placing our palm towards the floor, that is pronation. So this muscle is helping in flexion and supination of forearm, right? Next is tricep muscle. Tricep muscle is a posterior aspect of upper arm. Means bicep is located at the front side, tricep is just located the back side of upper arm. It arises from three heads, as like biceps had two heads, tricep having three heads. Long head arises from scapula, lateral and medial head arises from posterior surface of humerus. You can see here the long head is arising from here scapula, and other two heads are arising from humerus. The insertion is by common tendon to ulna. Now this Tricep muscle is inserting to ulna. Hey Bhagavan. Okay. Now tricep muscle is a powerful extension of elbow joint. Okay. It's when we are extending our elbow. Extension is, we have seen that in flexion, the bicep muscle is contracting. We all know when we are flexing our elbow. I hope you remember the concept of flexion and extraction. So when we are folding our hand, the flexion. So in that case, bicep muscle is flexing or it is contracting. And when we are extending our hand or when we are straightening our hand, in that case, tricep muscles are contracting or it is helping in extension. Next is gluteus maximus muscle. Now, gluteus maximus is located. Okay. So, gluteus maximus muscle is located in the buttocks, in our buttocks. And the most important thing about gluteus maximus muscle is it is the strongest, largest, and heaviest muscle of our body. Okay. This gluteus maximus muscle is the strongest, largest, and heaviest muscle in our body, and it is forming our butts. It is the most prominent and superficial muscle of all gluteal muscles. Means in buttocks, this is the most prominent muscle. They originate from ilium and sacrum and are inserted into femur. You can see here, this muscle is originating from this ilium bone. This pubic bone is known as, means this bone of pelvic girdle is known as pubic bone. So this muscle is originating from this pubic crest. This portion is known as pubic crest. So this muscle is originating from pubic region. Sorry, iliac crest. This region is known as. So this muscle is originating from iliac crest, and it is inserting in. What is the name of this bone?
Femur.
Yes, very. This bone is femur, and this gluteus maximus muscle is inserting to femur. This muscle is responsible for movement of hip and thigh, assist in extension, abduction, and medial rotation of hip joint. I hope these movements are clear to you now. I have explained so many times. If there any confusion regarding all this, then ask. Otherwise, we'll move forward because we discussed so many times about this movement. So this is extension, abduction, and
Yes,
medial rotation of.
sir.
Yes. Now, next is rectus femoris muscle. Now, the rectus femoris muscle is one of the four quadriceps muscles of human body. Yes. So, in our front of thigh, a muscle group, the quadriceps is present. Quadri means four. We have
Sorry, ma'am. To interrupt, ma'am. Ma'am, your voice is weak.
Voice is breaking, madam.
my voice is, but why I am not sharing my network to laptop also? Is it okay now?
Ma'am, No, ma'am. Breaking, ma'am.
You speak, madam. Let me see. Little bit.
Let me speak through. Is it okay now?
Ah, yes, ma'am. It's okay now.
Okay. But I will not get if I am getting disconnected. Please inform me in group. Oh, it's almost 8. We'll turn out the class. So yes, we have seen bicep in forearm that is having 2 heads, tricep in forearm that is having 3 heads. Sorry, upper arm, not forearm. In the front side of upper arm, we have seen bicep. In the back side, we have seen tricep. Now, quadricep. Quadricep is present in thigh. In front side of thigh, we can see quadricep muscles which are having 4 heads. So, this rectus femoris muscle is one of those quadricep muscle. It crosses both hip and knee joint. Okay, so this muscle is such long that it crosses both hip joint and knee joint. The rectus femoris originates from anterior inferior iliac spine of ilium and pass over the front of knee joint. You can understand how long this is. Rectus femoris originating from anterior inferior iliac spine means here you can see this is the origination point. Ilium bone, this bone is known as ilium bone. So it is originating from this ilium bone, inferior part of ilium bone. Inferior means lower part, superior means upper part. So inferior part of this iliac bone, and it is inserting in front of knee joint. Here it is knee joint. So this is such a long muscle. Inserted into tibia by patellar tendon. Okay, it is inserting into tibia. Here tibia, the shin bone or the uh, strongest bone of lower leg. Now rectus femoris flexes the hip joint and then extends the knee joint. Okay, means when we are doing utkatasana, right, or malasan. नहीं, utkatasana, yes. No, no, not utkatasana. It is flexes the hip joint, means when we are in
Uttana
decreasing.
Padasan.
Yes, uttan padasana, yes. So this femoris, rectus femoris flexes the hip joint and extends the knee joint. Next is sartorius muscle. Now,
Two more, ma'am. Tomorrow we will do.
okay, okay.
Madam, why the vaccination will be given for deltoid muscle only, not for a gluteus muscle?
Yeah, in gluteus
Is
muscles
there
also the
any?
vaccination done, but
No,
it's
why the it is it will be given, but COVID vaccinations and all they have given for a deltoid. Na, that's why. Is there any scientific reason behind that?
it's easy, right? In gluteus muscles, it's difficult to insert the what do you call say injection. Just over your means just what we call say our sleeves. It's easy to remove your sleeves, then it's easy to open up your gluteus, right? So we will turn out bind out the class here by prayer. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, inhale deep and long, and exhale completely. Inhale and start the prayer. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामया, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्. Rub your palms. Put those palms on your facial muscles. Feel the warmth. Feel the energy. And open your eyes with a smile. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.